The women have had enough. The Atiap women, they are topless now, marching towards the enemy with their breasts bare and their grief louder than gunfire. In their culture, this is a curse, a last resort. They've lost too many men to care about modesty. This is their final stand. It's 1992 in Zangon Kataf, southern Kaduna. For years, the Atiap, mostly Christian farmers, they've lived uneasily beside the Hausa Fulani traders who dominated their town's main market. When the Atiap tried to move that market to their own area, a fight broke out. Within hours, it had turned into a full-blown war. By the time it was over, villages were gone. Thousands were dead, entire families wiped out. And Kaduna would never be the same again. For a while, it looked like the violence had ended, but beneath that silence, the anger was still there. And 8 years later, Kaduna would burn again, this time in flames higher than before. The year was 2000, and this time the fire started from a different kind of match: religion. In the late 90s, northern Nigeria was buzzing with a new wave of Islamic revival. One by one, northern states were adopting the Sharia law, and Kaduna, a state that was half Muslim and half Christian, was about to do the same. That announcement, it split the city like a blade. Muslims in the north of Kaduna, they saw it as a long overdue move, their right to live under Islamic law. Christians in the south, on the other hand, they saw it as a threat, like they were about to become second-class citizens in their own state. Tension built up quietly for weeks. Pastors were warning their congregations. Mosques were buzzing with sermons. And then, on February 21st, 2000, it finally exploded. That morning, members of the Christian Association of Nigeria, they gathered to protest the Sharia plan. At first, the protest started peacefully: songs, placards, speeches. But before long, Muslim youths appeared along the road. They were shouting back. Somebody from one of the sides threw a stone, then another, and suddenly, Kaduna became a war zone again. Mobs poured into the streets, machetes, petrol, anything they could grab. Houses were torched. People dragged out of buses based on their religion. Churches and mosques, they went up in flames, side by side. By nightfall, whole neighborhoods had been wiped out. The skyline of Kaduna, once just busy roads and market smoke, it now glowed red. For 5 days straight, the city was chaos. Reports say over 1,000 people were gone, maybe more. No one ever truly counted. Even when the army rolled in to restore order, the hatred did not cool down. Instead, it shifted. In May of that same year, there was another outbreak. Revenge attacks, rumors, fresh killings. Kaduna wasn't just divided anymore. It was scarred, deeply scarred. And yet, just like before, after all the blood, all the burning, nobody paid for it. A few arrests were made, a few trials, then silence. The survivors buried their dead, rebuilt their homes, pretended that peace had returned, but everyone knew that it was only a matter of time before Kaduna burned again. 2 years later, Kaduna burned again. This time, it wasn't about religion or law. Well, not directly. It started with a beauty pageant. In 2002, Nigeria was getting ready to host the Miss World contest, and the plan was for it to hold in Abuja. But weeks before the event, a journalist at This Day newspaper made a careless comment. The journalist joked that the Prophet Muhammad might have married one of the contestants if he was alive. Oh, that careless comment, that was all it took. Within hours, Kaduna streets exploded again. Muslim youths poured out furious. They were saying that article was blasphemy. They set fire to This Day's local office, then they moved on to churches, homes, markets. Christians struck back. Before long, the city turned into another battlefield. For 3 days, Kaduna was chaos again. Mosques, churches, they burned again, just like in 2000. Hundreds were killed. Some reports say 200, others say more. Nobody really knew for sure. And when the smoke cleared, same story. Families gone, streets destroyed, and once again, no real justice. The Miss World contest was moved out of Nigeria, and the rest of the country just moved on. But Kaduna never really did, because by now the violence, it wasn't just a reaction, it was a pattern. Every few years, a new reason, a new spark, but the same result. By 2011, Kaduna was once again trying to live like nothing had ever happened. But peace in Kaduna is very fragile. It doesn't seem to last long. That year, Nigeria held another presidential election, and the race was between Goodluck Jonathan, a Christian from the south of Nigeria, and Muhammadu Buhari, a Muslim from the north. When the results came out and Jonathan won, the anger in the north was instant. People said that election must have been rigged. Others said it was impossible for a southern Christian to truly represent them. Within hours, riots broke out across northern Nigeria, and Kaduna was one of the worst hit. In the northern part of the state, Muslim youths took to the streets. They were attacking churches, Christian homes, Christian businesses. In the southern part, Christian youths retaliated, targeting Hausa Fulani communities. It turned into another bloodbath. Villages like Zonkwa, Matserga, Kafanchang, they were drenched in violence and blood. Some estimates say over 500 people died in southern Kaduna alone. Hundreds more were killed in the north. Whole families were wiped out again. The army moved in, curfews were declared, arrests were made, just like always. No one really faced real punishment. Kaduna was once again left to clean up its own blood. People started to say it openly. Is this place cursed? What is going on? But it wasn't a curse. It was just the same old wound, reopening over and over again. Religion, politics, ethnicity, all tangled into one endless cycle of pain. After 2011, Kaduna tried to heal again, but the cracks only widened. By the mid-2010s, the violence had changed shape. It wasn't the city riots anymore. It was attacks on villages, especially in southern Kaduna. This time, the headline said it was farmers versus herders. But to the people living there, it didn't feel like a clash. It felt like a massacre. Night after night, small communities were raided. Gunmen on bikes. They would storm villages. They would set homes on fire. They shot anybody that tried to run. In some cases, Christians in the south struck back. It became a cycle of revenge that nobody could really stop. By 2016, reports said that over 200 people were dead in just a few months. By 2020, human rights groups, they counted hundreds more. Mothers, farmers, children, entire villages emptied overnight. And the sad part is that everyone could predict it, but nobody could stop it. People started calling it the Southern Kaduna killings. But the truth is the same old Kaduna story. One fight bleeding into another, one generation paying for the hate of the last. And when people ask, why does Kaduna keep burning? The answer is complicated. Politics, religion, ethnicity, power. But the result is always the same. The funerals, the fear, the silence after. Every time Kaduna burns, is never the same reason, but it's always the same pain. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like stories or videos like this, please follow me. I tell these stories all the time on all my social media. Thank you.